Alright, let's do this. Yo, what is up, guys? It is me, Sage Samurai here. Okay, you guys already know who I am. I've done this intro like what? How many times? And I think my channel has been around for at least a year. Wait, let me check. Because I forgot when was the last time I even checked when this channel was even created. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a year. Okay? I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Well, okay. Look, whatever. Yo, what is up, guys? I'm back. And here I am on YouTube. Now, let's get something straight. First of all, I'm not explaining anything as to why I was gone. Because just like, I didn't want to. It was simple. I got lazy. But either way, here I am now, and I'm here to post. So, yeah. By the way, guys, like I said in my last channel, I got rusty when it came to making what is. Literally, it took me like a good, like nearly almost like 30 minutes to even write down a couple of lines for my what is. Because I was really thinking like, dang, when was the last time I even did this? And it turns out the last time I did this was actually a couple of days back. But that doesn't matter, okay? What matters is I got a little bit rusty. But it's okay. I got my water here. I wrote a pretty decent script. I think you guys will like it. And either way, I hope you all enjoyed this part 2. What if Naruto had left the village instead of Sasuke? Well, it's supposed to be part 3, but really it's just, yeah, it's part 3. Hope you all do enjoy. And either way, let's get started.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright, guys, now let's do this. Alright, so let's start off where we left off, alright? We start off with our blonde protagonist confronting one of his closest allies, that being the Kazekage / previous tailed beast holder, Gaara of the Sand, before he left the village. The village hid in the leaves. As we start off, we see the young Kazekage going through a inner turmoil as he had tried to comprehend the fact that he was seeing the person who he considered his very first and most important friend standing right in front of him. As his mind was searching for a solution to what was happening, he would then be snapped out of his thoughts by the sound of said blonde's voice. So, Gaara, how's it been, friend? I see that you became the Kazekage. Must be nice, said Naruto in a sort of monotone voice, a little bit emotionless / serious, typical pro tag stuff. As Naruto was staring at the person who he had not even like 5 minutes ago just saved his life from certain death. As Gaara would go ahead and snap out of his thoughts, he would go ahead and turn to Naruto. Alright, I gotta ask you this one thing. Are you 100% Naruto? He would say as he was looking at Naruto directly in the eyes. He needed to make sure of it. At this, Naruto, understanding his suspicion, would go ahead and smile as he would then go ahead and then instantly blitz into doing hand signs. Seeing all the hand signs from the blonde, Gaara instantly goes ahead and prepares to activate his sand, only to stop as then suddenly a sort of cube-like barrier would then appear. Uzumaki style Fuenjutsu. Perfect cube, yelled Naruto, as the cube will go ahead and be set place. As this soundless pink cube-like barrier whatever was surrounding both of them, Gaara can't help but be mesmerized. What type of jutsu is this? It's so advanced. Gaara can tell this thing takes up a lot of control and also a lot of chakra, as he could obviously tell that this was a very powerful jutsu, defensive type, as he could tell that this jutsu doesn't seem something that would actually harm someone. At this, Gaara would then look at Naruto as Naruto would go ahead and smile. Well, now that we have our privacy, I guess now is the time I should flare it. At this, our blonde protagonist would then go ahead and close his eyes, only to open them, revealing the red eyes of the Kyuubi, as he would go ahead and gain a little bit of Kurama's chakra. Sensing the power of said tail beast, Gaara can do nothing but gasp. He really is Naruto, Gaara would think, as he was now staring at his very long-term comrade, Naruto Uzumaki. At this, Gaara, overwhelmed with these emotions and everything, plus due to the exhaustion of having a tail beast extracted out of him, will go ahead and just fall onto his knees. I can't believe it. It's just, at this, Naruto would go ahead and snap out of his, releasing his auras. He then walks over to Gaara, putting a hand on his back, supporting the man. Easy there, calm down. It's not every day that you get a tail beast extracted out of you, said Naruto. At this, Gaara will go ahead and look at Naruto. How? What? First of all, how am I even alive? I can't even hear Shikaku anymore. What is going on? At this, Naruto will look at Gaara for a second until he gets up. Don't worry, I'll explain everything to you. But first, I need to take care of something. At this, Gaara was confused until Naruto once again blitzed through the hand sign, as the cube will go ahead and dissolve, signifying that Naruto had cancelled out the jutsu. Let's go ahead and pay a visit to my comrades. As Gaara will go ahead and look at Naruto, the way he said it, Naruto had a certain undertone to it, almost as if he was mocking the idea of them being comrades. As Gaara can't help but wonder what happened to the blonde. Alright, change of scene. We would now see Deidara and Sasori, as they were right now had just gotten off with pain and everything, as they had just informed about the mission. As now that the ghetto statue had absorbed, they were now about to take their leave, as this is when suddenly they would then hear slow clapping. Well, I can't believe that we all did a good job, don't you think? Said our favorite blonde protagonist, as he goes ahead and jumps down into their secret base. At this, Deidara and Sasori would look at Naruto as they then said, "So, did you bury away your boyfriend?" Deidara would say with a slight chuckle. As our protagonist, although outwardly did not show it, on the inside he was affected by the comment and he gained a pissed off look. Just the one who looks like a hoe with all that hair, thought Naruto, as he was right now looking at Deidara. At this is when Sasori would then notice Naruto giving them what seemed to be, some sort of odd look, as it held a lot of killing intent. Uzumaki, just what the heck are you planning? At this, Deidara would stop his chuckling as he then looks at Sasori. What are you talking about? At this is when suddenly a tension would then filled in the area, as Naruto and Sasori would both look each other in the eyes. As this tension will begin to cloud in, Deidara also stops his joking manner as he stares at Naruto as well, as he was trying to contemplate what the heck was going on. Well, I never expected Sasori to be the clever one out of both of you, but then again, that was usually the cycle. At this, Naruto would then put his hand behind his head, as he goes ahead and once again puts on the hoodie of his cloak, as he goes ahead and stares at both of them. Your service to me has now expired. I think it's about time that you guys go ahead and at least start saying your will, or whatever your last words are going to be, as this will be your last moments breathing. At this, both Sasori and Deidara will look at Naruto surprised, as this is when suddenly Deidara will then look at him. You're acting real tricky, brat. Are you forgetting who taught you your stuff? Are you forgetting who I am? Maybe a little bit of my art will fix you up. At this, no one moved. No one speaked. Action was in place. As this is when suddenly Deidara will go ahead and manifest a clay bird as he throws it at Naruto. As the bird will go ahead and fly over to Naruto, Naruto will go ahead and instantly body flicker away from it, dodging it as it then collides with the ball, causing an explosion. Well, I guess now that means talking is out of the way. But truly, like I said, your times are up. At this, both Deidara and Sasori prepare for combat, as they have now sort of came to the idea that Naruto had now just betrayed the Akatsuki. But that was when suddenly they'll both be stopped. Wait, what? Sasori's eyes will widen as well. What's going on? Both of them cannot control their bodies properly. What? At this, no one said anything until they heard low cackling. Fucking idiots, said Naruto as he then walks towards Sasori and Deidara, hands in his pockets as he goes ahead and looks at them. Fucking idiots, that's what you both are. Did you seriously thought I was just gonna challenge you both? I mean, yeah, I could obviously take you on, but that would be a hassle. Plus, there'll be more damage, especially since that thing behind you, I still have some use for it. At this, both Deidara and Sasori eyes wide as they knew what Naruto was talking about. Right behind them was none other than the ghetto statue, the same statue that they went ahead and used to offer up Gaara. What are you talking about? What is going on? At this, Naruto would just shrug his shoulders. Don't worry, you won't know for long. At this, Naruto will go ahead and walk over to both of them as he then smiles. I do have to thank you. Y'all did I have to admit, you guys taught me very well, but in the end, one of my senseis did teach me one thing. Emotion has no use in the world of shinobi. At this is when suddenly Naruto will go ahead and lift up the sleeve of his cloak, as he will then go ahead and reveal his arm from his hand to his elbow, that he had this weird tattoo in place, as it looked like it was a tattoo filled with multiple seals. At this is when Naruto would then go ahead, his eyes would then roll up in the back of his head, as he would then whisper out, Reaper's Lullaby. As this is when suddenly a very low frequency would then ensue, as Deidara and Sasori eyes will go wide. What is this? As both of them begin to shake. Now this is when suddenly both of these individuals will then be lifted up in the air by some unnatural force. Uzumaki, what is this? Shouted Deidara as he was now looking at Naruto with pure fear. But Naruto didn't say anything, as he was now having a cruel and sadistic smile on his face. Too late to find out about that, Deidara. At this, Deidara's eyes will widen, as this is when suddenly both him and Sasori's eyes will then roll in the back of their heads, as this is when suddenly a white hand will go ahead and go through both of their chests, as Sasori and Deidara were both still wide-eyed and, they couldn't really do anything. As this when suddenly both of these hands will then pull out these white substances, as these were none other than the souls of Deidara and Sasori. At this, Naruto would not say anything, as this is when suddenly said person will go ahead and open its mouth, as it then devours the souls of both Sasori and Deidara, as it will then go ahead and close his mouth, enjoying his meal. This is when it will then look down at the person who had delivered him these delicious treats. It's a pleasure doing business with you, Reaper, said Naruto, as his eyes would then return back to normal, as he would then look at the very person who had gained him this ability, as suddenly standing over, or looming over the blonde, would none other than be the Reaper himself. As the Reaper will go ahead and nod its head towards Naruto, it will then disappear in a white flash, as this is when Naruto's seals will then stop glowing, as he will then go ahead and once again roll back up his sleeve, hiding away the seals that were underneath it. Gaara, you can come out now, said Naruto. At this, the Kazekage will then exit out of there, as he then looks at Naruto. Naruto, what was that? At this, our blonde protagonist then looks at Gaara with a hollow look. Oh, me? Well, that was nothing. Trust me, you're gonna see a lot more crazy stuff. At this, Gaara will go ahead and say nothing, as this is when Naruto will then look at Gaara. Now then, you were asking for information, weren't you? At this, Gaara would say nothing, as he then stares at Naruto, as he was now confused. Now he had more questions than answers. As we now go ahead and change scenes, we would see the team of the Hidden Leaf arriving at Suna, as this is when both of them will this is when the teams would then arrive to see Kankuro in the injured state, and Tamari pretty much acting hysterically. Alright, so do we have any tracks or anything, any information that we can to get to the Kazekage? Asked Kakashi, as he was right now looking at them. The Konoha team consisted of Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, and, Tamari. Yeah, Tamari was with them. As, it was pretty much the same thing like in canon, except, switch Naruto with Sasuke, yeah. At this, Kankuro didn't say anything, as he was still pretty injured. Sakura had already healed him, of course, as he would then speak. Yeah. There were a couple of tracks I was following, but sadly, one of the guys, they were powerful, they knocked me out easily. At this made them really wonder, just how powerful were these Akatsuki guys? Well, Sasuke was just thinking, oh, they were this strong. How strong are you, brother? He wondered. As this was happening, this is when, just like in canon, Granny Chiyo will go ahead, walk in there, begin acting like a lunatic at seeing Kakashi, thinking of him as he was the White Fang, who already passed away. Pretty much making Kakashi remember the depression that his father went ahead and, I'm not saying it disrespectful. Either way, pretty much after that, she'll go ahead and actually ask for them to, to accompany them, as she believes that she needs to also be there. At this, both members will go ahead and nod as they actually agree on taking Chiyo with them, as they decide to go off and search for the Kazekage of Suna. Now back with our protagonist. Gaara was there wide-eyed as he stares at Naruto. How is that even possible? At this, Naruto just shrugs it off. It's kind of ironic, don't you think? The so-called dead last, the idiot, the dope of his academy was able to do something so magnificent, right? Truly, it's truly what people say, right? Karma's a bitch. At this, he will go ahead and begin to laugh as Gaara can only think of one thing about Naruto's plan. It was nearly flawless. Flashback. As Gaara will stare at Naruto, he will go ahead and nod as this is when Naruto will go ahead and sit down. Well, you might as well get comfy. I gotta go ahead and take care of these two, as he points at both of the corpses of, both of the lifeless bodies of Deidara and Sasori. As this is when Naruto will then pull out a brush and a paper tag as he begins to go ahead and write down on it. At this, Gaara will go ahead and ask the first question. Where have you been for a while? At this, Naruto will go ahead and look at him. Gaara, don't start asking dumb questions. You see me with the Akatsuki's robe. You should already know by now. At this, Gaara will go ahead and look at the Akatsuki robe as he realized that yes, that was a pretty dumb question. Fine then. Alright, then let me ask you this. What the heck have you been doing for the past few years? Have you actually been helping them? Because that seems unlike you. And even though you may have changed, it makes no sense as to why you're helping me. At this, Gaara will go ahead and begin to explain that Naruto can only help but smile at his previously fellow Jinchuriki. Right as you are, Gaara. Well, let's start this off, shall we? You see, over the years when I was going ahead and transferred to the Akatsuki after I left the Hidden Leaf Village, it caused my mind to develop at a rapid rate. Well, that and the fact that I have a tail beast inside of me pretty much pounding knowledge into my mind until I finally got things right. At this, Gaara would nod as Naruto would continue on. You see, my first goal was initial, to gain acceptance, like any fellow Jinchuriki would want. I mean, come on now, you're not telling me that those glares that you got as a child did not bother you. Or who am I kidding, Gaara? You know that. In fact, you let all those glares and everything overcome you, causing you to go insane and delusional. Which I guess you could say was the same thing for me, and except this time it was different. I went ahead and continued thinking to myself that I could be accepted, I could continue trying. Maybe if I let them hit me, maybe if I let them call me names, maybe if I always showed them I was a hard worker, I could show them to accept me. How blind we both were. At this, Naruto would look at Gaara. As Gaara can see, Naruto was sort of in a dazed state, but he was seeming to have flashbacks. But you know what? As time went on, I realized that acceptance wasn't needed. Change was needed. At this, Naruto would then look. He would then get up from his, kneeling position as he would then slap the seal on Sasori's back. As this, when Naruto would then do a set of one-hand signs until he goes ahead and seals it up. There. At this, suddenly the seal on the paper would then go ahead and transfer, as it seems to go ahead and transfer from the seal as it goes ahead and enters inside Deidara's body until it finally goes to his heart as the seal is slapped on there. There, Naruto would say as he then removes the seal from Sasori. As he then gets back down, he'll throw the paper away as he works on the other seal. Now for Deidara. Alright, Gaara, let me continue on. As time went on, I realized that acceptance wasn't needed, change was. Gaara, this society that we live in is a society born on hatred and blood. It's a world where people like us, who suffer from the mistakes of our older generations, went ahead and had to live through. I'm not gonna stand for it. At first I want acceptance, but now I'm gonna make a change. At this, Naruto will go ahead and finish doing the sealing process for Deidara as he then slaps it onto, Deidara. doing the same thing that he did with Sasori for Deidara, as both of them now had seals attached to their hearts. At this, Naruto would then get up. He then looks at them. Rise, my soldiers. At this, suddenly both Deidara and Sasori will then rise up from the ground, surprising Gaara as he steps back, about to activate his sand manipulation, only to stop as he then sees that they seem to be like dormant, like they're not moving. What? At this, Naruto will continue speaking. In Gaara, I plan to do this goal by simply doing the very thing. I plan to tear it down from the inside. I plan to go ahead, weaken it, destroy everything that they accomplished, and then I'll go ahead and rebuild it from the ground up. I'll make one village, a village that could be united, a village of peace, of happiness. We'll have a village where children can run around, have fun. There'll be no unnecessary bloodshed, and I'll fight for it. I want a world where my children are able to grow up with smiles on their faces, no need to look around, watch their back for enemy shinobis. I will make sure of it. But in order for that to happen, this world needs to change. And I'm the only one that will try to make this change to happen. At this, Gaara would say nothing as he stares at Naruto, sort of reversing in his speech as he then speaks to Naruto. Alright, but still, what do you plan to, do you just plan to do just that? You would plan to end the lives of innocents and many others just for this goal of yours? At this, Naruto would then chuckle. I'm not a monster, alright? I'm not like those two dimwits that the Hidden Leaf called their heroes. At this is when suddenly Gaara would then look at him. What? At this, Naruto would chuckle. I'm not like those idiots that used to call themselves the god of shinobis. At this, Gaara's eyes will widen. The only people who were known as god of shinobis were those on the periods of Hashirama and Madara. As this when he would then look at Naruto. What do you mean? At this, Naruto would then laugh. Those couple of fools actually tried to accomplish that task, which I give them, but sadly they both failed. Although one of them did not have the right idea, the other did have the idea for it. Except he placed his trust in the wrong people. Although I can't blame him, he did trust his family. At this, Naruto was talking about how Hashirama trusted Tobirama, which he should have, come on now. Hashirama should have known that Tobirama was biased to the Uchiha. Come on now. We should know this. Plus, let's not also forget the fact that, didn't Tobirama was the one to, end the life of literally Madara's brother, right in front of him? Come on now, bro. Just no. As Naruto was laughing, he'll go ahead and say, because you see, anyone who is really, truly innocent, I'll spare them. In fact, no, I'll allow them to join my village. If they don't want to join it, it's okay. They can live in, as long as we all live in peace, I don't mind. If they become a threat, then I have to apologize for the inconvenience. But truly, I don't mean any harm. Of those who want to live in peace, we shall live in peace. Of those who want to actually live in our village, I do not decline them. Although if there are those who are greedy and try to use our village as if some sort of supply or resource, or something that they could just use and throw away whenever they're done, then they do not deserve to actually live in that village, inside this world. At this, Gaara will go ahead and look at Naruto now, as he's now beginning to comprehend just the extent of Naruto's plan. Because the way that Naruto is talking, it's like when you're seeing a leader declare a speech or something. As this is when Naruto will go ahead and speak, as we'll continue speaking. Now, as for how I'm gonna do it, pretty simple. At this, Naruto would then snap his fingers, causing the two bodies of Deidara and Sasori to both start paying attention to Naruto, as this is when Naruto would then speak once more. I'll use the power that I had attained, the power that I gave myself up just to attain for, to go ahead and actually bring this world of peace. And that's a promise I'm gonna keep, Naruto would say with a smile on his face. At this, Gaara will go ahead and just nod his head as he then looks at both Deidara and Sasori's bodies. So what do you plan to do with them? At this, Naruto would then smile. Simple. I plan to use them. At this, Gaara would then look at Naruto as Naruto would smile at Gaara. They shall help me bring in this new order. My village, although small, still needs reinforcements, and they shall be just that. I shall use them, sort of like puppets if you were to say, to go ahead and protect the people of the village. And once that village is full of peace, I shall put them to rest, so that way they can go ahead and move on. At this, Gaara would look at Naruto, and then look at these now, I guess you could say lifeless soldiers. Now, before you're like, hey, yo, I mean, like, isn't that a little bit dark? Yeah, come on now. Like, if you like the world of Naruto, although it's all like, colorful and everything with chakra, mostly because Naruto always has a smile on his face and everything, it's the world of Shinobi, alright? If you expect the world of Shinobi to be all friendly and everything, then you're wrong. Come on now, it's the world of Shinobi. As we go ahead and continue on, Naruto would then smile as he would then send like a telepathic link towards both of them as he gives him a command. As these soldiers would then go ahead and nod, Naruto will go ahead and see as both of them would then dash off, as he will go ahead and smile. Well, there, that takes care of that. At this, Gaara was about to ask where they would go, but due to the fact that Gaara was pretty sharp now that he was a Kazekage, he could only think that they probably went back to their village to protect it, like Naruto said. So you're telling me that you have control over them now? At this, Naruto would nod, as he will go ahead and begin to explain that they'll bring use to that village. They'll protect it, just like he intended for it to be. As he would then turn to Gaara, he would then say, alright, now, to answer why you're still alive. Well, at this is when the flashback would end, and we see Naruto now explaining to why Gaara was still alive now. So you see, that seal over there. At this, Naruto would point back to the ghetto statue, as he would then walk towards it. The first time I was actually introduced to this thing, I was impressed by the power of it. The power to seal away to take away that of these tailed beasts from its own Jinchuriki, which was surprising. As Naruto will go ahead and walk towards it, he will then go ahead and then literally he'll go ahead and stick his hand inside its mouth, as he'll go ahead and actually add a little bit of chakra to it. As this is when suddenly it will then glow a little bit. As suddenly releasing from the ghetto statue would not only then be a few amount of the tail beast chakra, but that, how do you? At this, Naruto would smile. Simple, I tampered with it. At this, Gaara's eyes once again widening for like the 50th time already now, as he's just thinking like, how the heck does this blonde have all of this? Once again, another flashback. Yay. God, I am already getting a little bit tired from saying, like I said, I got rusty, guys. Sorry. So in this part, we're going to go ahead and explain pretty much Naruto's encounter with the ghetto statue, plus his encounter with their leader. Flashback. We see the young Uzumaki as he was currently still, he had currently just arrived at the Akatsuki's base pretty much. Like, he was still pretty new to the group. At this, he would go ahead and exit out. He would see the rest of their members just there, as it seemed that they were waiting for someone. Hey guys, what's going on? Naruto would say, in pretty much an average Naruto-ish type tone. As this is when suddenly the voice of the dreaded Kyuubi will go ahead and boom through the mind of Naruto, as he then speaks, "Kid, watch your back. Whoever is coming, his power is. Trust me, you're not able to handle him." At this, Naruto was confused by the fox's warning until suddenly he would then feel it. What? A pressure like no other was settled into this room. As this when suddenly two individuals would then walk out of there, as Naruto was actually paralyzed in fear. What the fuck is this? At this, Naruto was trembling. And this is the same Naruto that was not afraid to even face Zabuza. At this, Naruto was right now just shaking as he wasn't thinking like, who is this monster? So, you brought him here. At this, Naruto will go ahead and slowly move his eyes up, as is when he would then see it, the leader of the Akatsuki, Pain, as well as the blue-haired female of the group, Konoha, who was accompanying him as usual. this is where, like, if you guys seen the last part, pretty much this is where Pain explains to Naruto about their goal, about getting the tail beast and everything, and that this will help Naruto gain acceptance and pretty much everything else. So of course Naruto was gonna accept it. Now when he was explaining this, Pain would also introduce Naruto to the ghetto statue that each member of the Akatsuki seemed to have. Seeing this statue, Naruto could sense like a lot of powerful energy coming from it, as this made Naruto narrow his eyes. Just what the hell? Now just to let you guys know, unlike in the actual canon timeline, this Akatsuki has not chased after the other Jinchurikis, although there have been sightings of them. Like taking down organizations, getting fundings, but other than that, they have not set actions yet. Well, in this flashback at least. Now it's a different story, but whatever. So at this, Naruto will go ahead and actually see the statue, as he then gains an actually brilliant idea. As he goes ahead and gets introduced to the statue and pretty much how it works. After this, pretty much Naruto is fully recruited into the Akatsuki and begins his training. Flashback end. Now, ever since that day, Naruto, when he finally came up with the idea of peace, to bring peace to the world, he decided that it was time for him to tamper with that ghetto statue. Due to Naruto having the control of the arts of Fuinjutsu, he does just that. He manipulates it. He goes ahead and actually creates a seal to where he controls the ghetto statue. As Gaara actually gets explained about this, he'll then look at Naruto weirdly. If that's the case, then how am I still alive? At this, Naruto would then smile. Oh, pretty simple. I tamper with this so that way it doesn't take away all the tail beast chakra. You still have a minimum amount in there. At this, Gaara's eyes would widen. So you're telling me the only reason why I'm alive is because I have a portion of the tail beast chakra left inside of me? At this, Naruto would nod. As Gaara was impressed, the genius of this plan was impressive. Who would have thought? Like, come on now, you gotta admit, Naruto in canon, he was a little, like, yeah, I guess you could say he was a prodigy because he was able to like master jutsus in like the summoning jutsu real fast, but at the same time, like, bro did not know basic knowledge, bro. At this, now Gaara was just confused now, as he then asked Naruto, what was his next plan? Alright, then what do you plan to do with me now? At this, Naruto goes ahead and jumps down. Well, I'm not planning to make you abandon Suna, alright? I'm not a monster, but I want your help. At this, Naruto would then reach out a hand. At this, Gaara would look at the hand warily as he then looks at Naruto. What do you mean? Join me, Gaara, Naruto would say as he looks at his comrade, or potential comrade now, depending on the situation. As Naruto was offering Gaara to alliance with this village, he could see it. The village of Suna, it has changed. It has changed for the better. Alright? It has changed from being this village of hatred and curse to now a village of acceptance and peace. And before you're like, what? Nah, like, come on, it's Suna. Let's be honest here, okay? The village of Suna, like, they were able to accept Gaara as their Kazekage and even were worried for him. Like, come on, you can tell me they did not change? Come on now. At this, Gaara will go ahead and look at Naruto as he then says, oh, but what about your so-called goal? At this, Naruto will go ahead and shrug. Well, although yes, I did plan to take down the other villages, that did not mean I plan to take down like all of them. Only take down the ones that caused the most trouble, the ones who caused the most amount of hatred, like the hidden leaf. As soon as Naruto was talking, his voice changed from one of, pure calmness and relaxed, so as soon as he said the hidden leaf part, his voice became cold and lifeless. It shook Gaara to his core, as he then looks at Naruto. But at this, Naruto will go ahead and look at Gaara again. So do you accept? At this, Gaara would look directly in the boy's eyes, as he could see that this was no longer the same Naruto that he knew. But he can see that deep down, even though it's not the same Naruto that he knew, it was the same kid, the same person who went ahead and risked his life to save him from his hatred, from his loneliness. So after a while of just thinking things over, Gaara would then go ahead and look Naruto directly in the eyes until he puts on a fond smile. He would then accept the blonde's hands. He then smiles. Alright, Uzumaki. At this, Naruto says nothing, however he smiles as he goes ahead and actually pulls out a seal, giving it to Gaara, as Gaara will look at this seal in confusion. This is one of my seals that I created. It's for communication. We don't need to send messages through pigeons, alright? All you have to do is add a little bit of your chakra into this, and you'll be able to communicate from me from any distance. At this, seeing the unique seal, Gaara was surprised as he would then smile. Alright, and whenever you need my help, you can call upon me, the Kazekage of Suna. At this, Naruto would nod as he actually feels happy. For so long, he has not, for so long, it feels good to reunite with an old friend. At this, Naruto was actually about to go ahead and give Gaara a brotherly hug, until suddenly, this is when Naruto would then sense something. Shit! At this, Naruto would then push Gaara out of the way as he jumps back, dodging what seems to be a streak of lightning, as Naruto's eyes would then narrow. Oh, it's you. At this, suddenly Gaara would then look up as well, as he would then see it. Up on the platform, he would see 3 individuals. One of them being a man with gray hair and a headband that seems to be covering one of his eyes, as well as a face mask. The other one has a hair that resembles a duck butt, with 2 red Sharingan glaring down at these individuals. And the final one being a pink-haired girl with a diamond on her forehead. At this, Naruto can't help but feel anger, hatred, excitement at seeing these people. They're here, Naruto would think in a very creepy sing-song tone, as Gaara was just thinking like, these idiots. As right now, we would then go ahead and see these people of Konoha, as this was none other than Team 7, or the retrieval squad, to go ahead and rescue Gaara. As each of them would jump down, this is when Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi would then look at Gaara, as they'll then see the masked individual. Kazekage-sama, you must get away from him, shouted Kakashi as he was now glaring at the masked individual. Well, not the masked individual, but the one with the hoodie. Which, yes, by the way, Naruto had once again put on his hoodie this time. As Naruto will go ahead and look at these people he used to call comrades, he would just laugh. Wow, to think that you actually have the arrogance to face me face to face. You arrogant, hidden leaf shinobis. At this, none of them said anything, just glare, as Sakura will go ahead and instantly begin to channel chakra into her fist. Hand over the Kazekage right now! At this, Naruto did nothing. Just stare at her, the girl who he used to call, that before he would actually call her the love of his life. But now, all he felt was hatred. As Naruto glares at her, he would then do something that surprised everyone, as he would then vanish and appear right in front of the girl, as he puts a hand on her shoulder, pretty much similar to what Naruto did in the Sasuke retrieval arc in canon. Remember what I told you if you said anything? At this, Sakura's eyes would then widen in recognition. Although the voice seemed different due to the fact they got older, but there was still no mistaking that cruel and lifeless tone. At this, Sakura would then begin to feel flashbacks, very violent, as she was sort of getting some PTSD vibes, as she would then remember about that fateful night that they lost the son of the hidden leaf. At this, Sakura would then be kneed in the gut, as she would then cough up a little bit, as she instantly gets thrown across the area. As right before getting knocked out, Sakura can only think of one thing: Naruto. As she'll go ahead and be sent flying, Sasuke was actually in shock, as even with his Rinnegan, he was barely able to keep up with the individual. How did he? At this, seeing that his student gets sent flying, Kakashi would go into a small rage frenzy as he says, "You'll pay for it." As he then shoots off with his Sharingan now activated, as he rushes at Naruto with a lightning blade, ready to slam it into him. Seeing the attack, Naruto will laugh. Alright, let's do this. At this, Naruto would then go ahead and begin to add some wind chakra to his fist, as he begins to spin like a drill. Wind style. At this, Kakashi would then yell at the same time, "Lightning blade!" As both of their attacks were beginning to clash with each other, Naruto would call out the full name of this jutsu, as he calls it Wind Style, Drilling Palm Strike. At this, both of their attacks would then slam into each other, as Kakashi would go ahead and actually feel the violent wind shredding his hand and his glove, as he goes ahead and screams out in pain. Seeing an opening, Sasuke would then vanish. He then appears behind this weird individual, as he goes ahead and strikes him with his katana, ready to stab him. However, this is when suddenly, in pure amazement, his sword would go right through him, but not giving any injury. What the? At this is when Sasuke would then be hit in the face by the back of the man's head, breaking his nose. He has to jump back. Dang it! At this, Naruto would go ahead and actually jump away, as he then looks at them. As much as I love to have more fun with y'all, it would be wise if we don't cross paths again, or I swear you won't be as lucky as you are today. At this, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura, who is knocked out right now, will just Sasuke and Kakashi will look up at the individual, as both of them were right now looking at him with their Sharingans blazing, as if they're trying to at least find out anything that they can, but this man's face was covered. The only thing you could see were his two red eyes that were looking down at them. At this, seeing this, Naruto decides that maybe it's about time that he gives him a little taste, a small little taste of just what is the difference between both of them. Now, at this, Naruto wouldn't smile. He then goes ahead and performs one hand sign until he finally looks up into the sky. Wind style. Great hurricane, shouted Naruto, as suddenly, just like that, the ginormous hurricane would then fall from the sky, as it was actually way bigger than expected. As you could see from all the way from very distances, you would see the other backup of the Hidden Leaf Shinobis, that being, Team Guy, who had also arrived there, pretty much. As they would also see this ginormous hurricane, as it was actually not even that far away from them too. What the heck? At this is when Guy would then shout at his team to scatter away, as they decided that whatever's going on over there must be intense. Seeing the violent winds ready to clash into them, Sasuke and Kakashi and pretty much everyone would be surprised. As Kakashi, seeing that, would go ahead, rush over to Sasuke and Sakura, as he adds a bunch of chakra trying to escape. Seeing their feeble attempt, Naruto will go ahead and look at Gaara, as this is when suddenly he will then pull out the very seal that he told Gaara to use to communicate with him. Gaara. At this, hearing the sound coming from the seal, Gaara will look at the seal as he then looks at Naruto's direction, as this is when Naruto will then say, "We'll meet again, trust me, but for now, I have to take care of things on my end." At this, Gaara will go ahead and look at Naruto as he then shouts, Where will I find you?" At this, Naruto would smile. "Nah, don't worry, I'll come to you, brother." Hearing this, Gaara would look as suddenly the hurricane would go ahead and begin to swirl around as Gaara uses a sand barrier, as he realized that even though this jutsu is already powerful, it seemed like it was not reaching its full potential, as this was a sign that Naruto held back on the attack, mostly because Gaara was there. Hearing this, Gaara can't help but smile, as suddenly, just like that, once the wind of the tides would go ahead and disperse, you would see the individual in the hoodie would vanish, leaving only Gaara, who was still there, as well as Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, as they were actually a pretty fair distance away, with Kakashi being exhausted. As Gaara's one and only thought will be thinking, "I'll see you around, brother." As this is where I'm going to end the video. Hope y'all do enjoy. Yeah, I know. Dude, what took you so long to record this? Yada, yada, yada. Listen, like I said, I'm rusty. I'm trying to get better. Look, when you take this long to not record something, that obviously means you're going to get rusty from doing it. Don't worry, though. I'm right now, like, getting back into the writing mood and everything. But, hey, I'm getting better, okay? Preach on that one. But anyway, I hope you all do enjoy this video. And either way, I'm out. Peace.